If you are in or intend to come abroad with your children, especially the young ones, you really need to hear this.
Yo, listen to this if you are an African parent and you live in any of the Western countries. Don't say that you were not told. Ignorance is never an excuse over here, okay? May you use your brain so that you go dey guided. Don't lose your kids for anything because you are saying I'm an African and this is how we do things in Africa. If you be in Rome, behave like a Roman. If you think you're not comfortable with how things are being done here, go back to Africa.
Training children over here is practically different from where we are coming from. Children are indulged in such a way that African parents can never understand. But what can we say? When you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman. Training your child is a different ball game here. You cannot shout, "Stop that," as you used to, because it is an emotional abuse or torture. Sending your kids to the naughty corner has to be timed according to their age, and it should be a place where they can reflect, or else it will be termed as neglect. For the religious people, be it a Christian or a Muslim, you really have to be tactical about them fasting. Else it's a big offense or big issue to starve your children, as they would call it. They do not want to hear the word beats of any kind. This is a big offense. All these four and many more falls under the safeguarding of children and child protection, and it includes this following: protecting your children from abuse and maltreatment, preventing harm to children's health and development, ensuring children grow up with the provision of safe and effective care, taking action to enable all children and young people have the best outcomes. I have heard of a lot of situations where it seems like African children are being targeted in schools. The thing is, they always ask new students to tell them about whichever country they are from, what life is over there, as a form of introduction into the class. And we all know how children are being corrected or trained back home. So you can imagine the outcomes of such interaction. Once these ways of being corrected is mentioned, they then keep keen interest in that child and read every possible meaning to all the child's actions or reaction. Keep in mind that social care for children is a big deal over here. People actually wake up every morning to go and sit in an office expecting to save a child from harm or bad parenting, as the case may be. You would agree with me that school is the fastest place to see such a situation. Hence, the placement of social worker in schools or whistleblowing by teachers or anyone in the school that feels something is wrong with a child. The 5 rules of safeguarding, also known as the 5 R's, are put in place. Recognize the signs of abuse and neglect, respond appropriately to concerns about abuse and neglect, report concerns to the appropriate authorities, record information accurately and appropriately, review safeguarding practices regularly to ensure that they are effective. We know that these people sometimes go overboard, like the case of a friend that took her almost 3-year-old son to the GP for immunization and also took his older brother along because she had no place to put him. She innocently asked if she could use anything to deworm the older child, like Combatren, as the child eats too much, and the doctor told her to give him a minute, only to come with the social worker and other people instigating that she wants to starve the child and that the child is not looking well taken care of. I also heard of situations of children being constantly asked in schools about their living conditions and if they were being beaten at home. They go as far as giving these children phone numbers to call if they feel unsafe at home. African parents must find a way to train their children without being called out for safeguarding risk. Because if it gets to this stage, social services, NHS, the child's school, and police would all be involved. Then they might go to court, if need be, to determine if the case is of a child in need or of child protection. If it's a case of a child in need, then the child will be allowed to remain with the family. Then assign the social worker that visits regularly. Other people would also come in to train the parents on proper parenting, safeguarding in children, and finally, they will do regular review to determine if the family is free from social services or support. But if it's a case of a child protection, then that is the big trouble. In such cases, that child might or could be taken away to foster homes permanently.
If you live in the Western countries, any of the Western countries, their laws are similar. So you need to make sure that you follow the way things are being done in that place. Now they claim, or if you claim too much, you go put yourself in big trouble. So be wise. One time, use your sense.